Moving to our report section, 5.01, agenda item 5.01 is Career Tech and College Ready Plus report. Mr. Reeves.
Thank you, President Byrd, Vice President Velardo, Dr. Kellogg, members of the board. 4 years ago, we had a unique opportunity to rebuild our secondary program in the wake of several cuts. It was an opportunity for us to be very intentional, to develop programs to meet the goal of graduating our seniors who will be college and career ready, not only because of something that we think is valuable for them, but something that's evidenced by course that they've taken on their transcript, whether it be AP, IB, College Credit Plus, or career technical coursework. There were two initiatives that spurred the development of our programming. First initiative was the Pathways to Prosperity grant, which we received over $1 million to develop pathways, training, equipment, materials for our students that have really taken off and are still being developed within our programming, and the College Credit Plus system that moved away from post-secondary educational options into the system that we have today. So I'd like to share a little bit about our progress with our college and career readiness data and the opportunity that we are providing students in college and career technical coursework. That would help. There we go. Sometimes it's the most simple solution. That's why you sit over there. If you take a look at our Career Center enrollment over the last 3 years, juniors and seniors in our system had the opportunity to attend 2 career and technical districts: Columbus City Schools, where students can attend Fort Hays Career Center and the Downtown High School, and the Delaware Area Career Center's North and South Campus. Some of those students attend full-time, some of those students attend half-time. And because of our pathway programs, we have state-approved career technical courses taught in each of our high schools. Students can take career technical and college coursework in 3 pathways that were developed as a result of the Straight A grant: our health pathway, our business logistics pathway, and beginning this year in our engineering pathway. And that does not include the entire 7th grade class that takes the engineering and design courses that they interact with our mobile fab lab, which was purchased from funds from the Straight A grant. So if you look at the green numbers represents in the last 3 years the students, or the green bar, the students that have attended either Columbus, Downtown High School, or Fort Hays. So very steady enrollment, actually a slight increase, and we have a finite number of students that we can send there, and we are increasing and working our way to our maximum. In fact, we've had field trips where we've taken parents, board members down in the last couple of years to see the Downtown High School. The middle, turquoise perhaps, represents the number of students that are attending Delaware Area Career Center, both their North and South Campus. Again, some full-time, some part-time. And again, you can see a steady increase. We have been very intentional. I think last year we took the highest number of kids we've ever taken to a field trip to Delaware. We took bus loads of kids to interact with their programming. And so we're very pleased with the number of students that are taking advantage of those opportunities. The bar to the right represents our in-house pathways, state-approved career technical coursework at the high school level. And you can see in 14 and 15, we had 161 students interact with career technical coursework. That was the first year that we introduced our pathways, and that was almost exclusively our health pathway courses. In our second year, we doubled that nearly and had 311 students interact as we continued to build upon our health pathway as we marched it toward the end and began to introduce career technical coursework within our business pathway. And you can see that we've even doubled it this year, where we have over 600 students that are interacting within our state-approved career technical coursework at the high school, because our health pathway is now reaching full maturity all the way through 4 years. Our business pathway has added business law, which has an enrollment of well over 100 kids, and with the start of our engineering pathway, which has just under 200 kids in it. And so we have added every year. We've almost doubled, and we will continue to grow as we continue to build our engineering pathway, as we continue to finalize our business pathway and provide opportunities for kids. So all in all, when you look at the number of students that are participating at our area career centers or engaging within our coursework, we are reaching nearly 1,000 of our students who are, as evidenced on their transcript, interacting with college and career technical coursework that is evidenced by what you can see on their transcript. So College Credit Plus. The state moved from the old post-secondary educational options model and replaced it with what we now know as College Credit Plus. As a part of our pathway work, we were able to offer college coursework within our Westerville City Schools curriculum, in addition to students who interact with college coursework by leaving our campus and engaging with a college campus or taking an online environment. And as you can see, the number of students that are interacting with college coursework in our schools in the last 3 years have continued to grow every year to where we have 182 students. Those 182 students include only students interacting in the first semester. That number will grow when we engage with the second semester, and that number also includes one young lady at Genoa Middle School who is interacting with a Columbus State course. So when you look at the number of students that we are engaging with in college-level coursework, the courses taught both in our system and out. We have 7 courses that we're teaching right now within Westerville City Schools this semester that students are engaged with. Within our health pathway, they are taking basic concepts in healthcare and medical terminology. Within our business pathway, they are taking personal finance, computer concepts and applications, fundamentals of business and administrative services, and marketing principles, which is a customer service. We will add courses in the second semester as well. Additionally, we introduced this year, that the board thankfully approved last year, is Composition 1100. Composition 1100, the first semester version 1 and 2, in the second semester is what we call a TAG course, which stands for Transfer Assurance Guarantee, which basically means students that take this Comp 1100 this year, every public university in the state of Ohio will recognize that as their freshman level English. So a student who takes Comp 111, and we have a full section in every class, in every high school, will move on and will have completed their freshman level English class at Ohio State, at Bowling Green, at Kent, at Toledo, Cleveland State, so forth and so on. So it is something that it's an opportunity we're very, very proud that we were able to offer. Secondly, all of the courses that we offer in-house, those 7 courses, we'll have over 10 total by the end of the school year, are all facilitated or taught by Westerville City Schools teachers. We have 5 universities that students interact with off campus. Currently, students are taking coursework at Columbus State, Ohio State, Otterbein University, Ohio Dominican University, and we've got 2 courses being taken at the University of Toledo through online services. So we have really stretched. I think our community has seen the opportunities. We have kids taking advantage, and you can see that we are steadily increasing the number of students interacting with college coursework, career technical coursework. So when you look at the amount of credits that are offered in-house versus the number of credits that are offered off-campus, those percentages reflect the 61% of the pie graph represents the number of credits that if every student was successful in every class, which I know they will be, that they will earn 614 credits outside of the domain of our campus in those 5 universities. The 39% represents the number of credits that are earned in-house. And if all of our students are successful, which I know they will be, they will earn 390 college semester credits just this semester, which is 1,004 college credits that have the opportunity to be earned this semester alone. So I think it's an amazing opportunity that our kids are clearly taking advantage of. And then when you look at what we have traditionally exposed our students to at the college level coursework, we have our advanced placement coursework that are offered at all 3 high schools, and then we have the International Baccalaureate program that's offered at Westerville South. And as you can see, we are making slow and steady gains. And one of the fears I think that you have when you begin to introduce new programming is it going to detract or take away from what you traditionally have. And what you can see is we are still attracting students to advanced placement coursework. We've actually grown by nearly 100 students from last year to this year, and we have, with the addition of Bill Heinmiller, who is an amazing coordinator at Westerville South for the International Baccalaureate program, we have the highest number of students engaging in IB than we've ever had in our program. So introducing college-level coursework, introducing career technical coursework, there's room for all of them to succeed, and it is an opportunity for families to make the choice that's best for their child and how they want to engage in their coursework. And so when you look at the number of students that are engaged, now these numbers do not represent individual students, they represent enrollment in courses. So if I'm a student who takes 3 AP courses, I count for 3 of those numerals. So we have reached an all-time high at the amount of enrollment in AP and IB and College Credit Plus and Career Technical Attainment this year, when just 3 years ago we had nothing in Career Technical outside of what students were interacting with Columbus and Delaware area. And we had AP and IB, not to the levels we have it now, and we didn't have in-house college and career technical. So just in 4 years, I'd be very interested to see, is there another system in our state that has done more to interact with college and career technical coursework than Westerville City Schools? So, don't take my word for it. We have some guests that have given up their evening to come and share their experiences and their insights. I'd like to bring 2 students. I've got Kaylee and Skylar, who will share their experiences with the career technical centers that they attend, the programs that they attend, and why they chose them and how that is impacting their educational experience. And then we've got Mary Beth Freeman, who's the superintendent of Delaware Area Career Center, who's going to share her insights on the value of career technical education. And then we've got 2 teachers, Brooke Cochran and Diana Arco, who both interact with our college and career, our college credit plus courses and career technical courses, who will share their insights. So, ladies.
I'm Kaylee Meeks. I attend the Fort Hays Career Center through Columbus City Schools. I am in the dance performance program under Mrs. China White. I've been dancing since the age of 3, and I've always wanted to be a professional dancer. But the training required for a professional dancer doesn't leave much room for an education. And I've always wanted to go to college and, finish high school. And so the Career Center really allowed me to finish high school and get all the credits I wanted and be able to do all the education I wanted and still get enough training hours to pursue a professional career. I get 2.5 extra training hours through the Career Center 5 days a week that I wouldn't have otherwise. So I have all that extra training, and it's great. I love it.
So
yeah.
you were sharing with me earlier, what's the plans when you graduate?
Well, originally I was going to go straight into a company, but I've had some bad luck with injuries. So I actually now have the opportunity. I'm applying for colleges right now, and I get to get my Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Dance Performance. And then I can still become a professional dancer, which is really great. It's a new thing. These BFA programs, they're really coming into the world, and it's a great opportunity for artists who still want to get a college degree. So I get to do Career Center, and I get to go to college. It's great. Questions?
So how many hours a day are you at the Career Center?
I'm at the Career Center 2.5 hours a day. I'm there from 12 to 2:30 after I take my traditional classes at Central every morning.
Okay. And do you feel like you have enough time with your friends? And
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And
That's one thing as a dancer I don't get as much because I still train after school as well. I dance over 24 hours a week, so I dance after school as well. But for anyone else in the Career Center, that evening time is, free for their friends' activities.
Good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? No? Good.
Yeah, actually I do.
Okay.
So you've danced in shows. What was your favorite part?
Lead Spanish dancer in the Nutcracker
Wow.
through the New Albany Children's Ballet Theater.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Skylar Saba, and I am a senior at Westerville Central. I am taking classes at Otterbein through the College Credit Plus. So I am there every day taking classes. I'm taking 3 courses this semester, and then I'm also taking classes at Central, so I'm both schools. And then hopefully, if I can get into the classes the following semester, I'll be taking 3 more. And I've wanted to go into fashion merchandising since I was in 5th grade. That's always been the goal. We've always been working for that. So me and my mom looked at the schools and the curriculum and what credits transfer, what classes I need to take. And my high school, Central, we had 2 AP classes that counted towards the credits that I would need. And I took those, took the AP test, passed it, and then we came to senior year and we're like, okay, what are we going to do now? What do you want to do? And one of my friends actually, last year, her senior year, she did College Credit Plus, and she was like, you should try it. I think you would like it. So we decided that that was what I was going to do, and I've loved it. It turned out awesome. I gained a lot from it. I wouldn't say it's for everybody because it's definitely, you're in the college campus. It's a whole different environment. The way that we learn is a little bit different as well. It's more in line with the way that my AP classes were, but it's a lot of individual work since we're not in the classes every day. It's a little bit more on yourself, but that's taught me a lot of which way I like to learn, what classes I like. I'm taking a math class there, a public speaking class, so I'm getting my math credit and my English credit to graduate. That way it's taken care of. And then I'm also taking an art class. So it's opened my eye to a lot of different things. If I took 3 more math classes, I could have a minor in mathematics from Otterbein, which is really cool. And I would have never thought that I would be able to do that. I don't particularly like math. It's not my favorite. So that's really cool. I wasn't expecting that. And then also with my art class, I realized that I want to do more with art. I love art, and I didn't really know what I could do with it. So working with my professor, we actually kind of planned out what exactly I could do with it. And I think I'm going to minor in graphic design, hopefully. So I really love the art program at Otterbein, and I've had a really great time with it. And I've made a lot of friends too, which was really cool. I wasn't expecting that. Without them, I probably wouldn't be able to get through my math class. But it is really good to know that wherever I end up there, I'll be able to make friends and get through things, and I love it. Any questions?
When you are splitting the day, Central Otterbein, right? When you talk to other students at Central, classmates at Central, what do you tell them about this program? What do you tell them as your... it's been a change for me because I am kind of half high school student, half college student. So it's been hard for me to kind of figure out, okay, like, where am I fitting in? And I've told them, like, I love it. It's really fun, and I've made a lot of great friends and learned a lot from the experience. It's definitely not for everybody, so depending on who's asking me about it is kind of what I'll say, if that makes sense. If they're somebody that I've been taking AP classes with, been in the honors classes and I know can handle it, I'd be like, yes, like, for sure, look into it. But then we do offer the college classes at the high school, and sometimes that might be a little bit better option for somebody who's not fully ready to be dropped into a college class and with a professor. It's a whole different thing, and it's a different environment. And I would say being at the high school is a cool way to do it as well and guarantee those credits, because you don't have to leave and you're surrounded by people that you know, and the teachers are a little bit, they teach high school classes, so they kind of know where you're at as well. So I'll tell them about that option too, just depending on who I'm talking to. Yeah, Sally, and I appreciate that response, because we are so excited about this, and just the breadth of opportunities
the breadth of opportunities, right?
Yeah.
And it could be some stair-stepping for some students, could handle the academic side of the college class, but maybe aren't ready for on-campus side.
Yeah, for sure. And even like with missing classes, or I was sick, and like you can email your professor, but he's not going to give you the notes, so you have to be able to make a friend to get the notes or things like that. Or if you have partner projects, like, okay, I'm going to have to talk to somebody. So it's a whole social aspect of it that I feel like you have to be mature enough to do. So I think it's important for the counselors when we're looking at the options to say, like, okay, like, you have to be prepared for that. And my counselors talked to me. We sat down and talked about it. So that was really good, and I felt like I was able to do it.
I think we're just very proud of both of you,
Thank you.
really, very proud of you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So as Mary Beth's coming to the podium, I get the pleasure to work with her about once a month, and she coordinates the Delaware County area superintendents and deals with the Delaware area county superintendents, who can be quite a handful, and just does fabulous work up there. And on the last minute, I called her on Friday and said, hey, and she was willing to come down. And I know, because she is a superintendent, she's a very, very busy person. She has facilities changes going on. One of the strongest advocates in the state of Ohio for career technical education. So I want to thank her for taking time out of her schedule to come down here and be with her this evening.
Well,
Thanks.
thank you, Dr. Kellogg. It is certainly my privilege to be here, and I want to thank you for the support in sending students to the Delaware Area Career Center. As Mr. Reeves shared with you, there are about 170 Westerville students coming to the Career Center this year. We have on campus roughly just over 800 students, and with our satellites we're serving over 1,400 students. But I will tell you that this year Westerville has surpassed and is our highest enrolling number of students at the Career Center. So you surpass all of the other Delaware County schools. So thank you and congratulations. We have those traditional programs that you think of in terms of things such as auto tech, cosmetology, welding, construction, etc. We also have programs such as health tech, law enforcement, the zoo school, where the kids actually go to the zoo every day. They work with the docents, they do research projects, and definitely is a college prep course at the zoo school. We also more recently have added some programs such as app development, engineering. We have a senior-only farm tech program, bioscience, and when we get our new facilities, we will also be looking at exercise science and cybersecurity. So we're looking at what are those careers coming down the path that we need to prepare our students for. Oftentimes people think, well, you're going to the Career Center, there's no way that you can go to college then. And I think you just heard the young lady Kayla here and talked about her experience in wanting to go to college. And our students are prepared for college and career. Their coursework, whether it's academics and their career tech coursework, they're able to earn college credits for those. They get industry credentials, and they have actual experiences that make them ready to go either path that they would choose to go. Instead of spending one period a day in the program, they spend just under 3 hours a day in their career tech program. They can take academics the other half with us, or they can come back to Westerville and take the academics here at Westerville. But there are some, the positives that go with that experience is, one is they get to explore that major or that college field. It's awfully expensive to go to college and that become your career exploration and decide after you've spent thousands of dollars that's not what you want to do. So it's a great way to come and say, is this something I really want to do lifetime and spend all that money on? The students build portfolios based on their learning experiences. They meet, they interact with professionals, they have mentors, they earn credentials that are valued by the employers, and they participate in internships and job placements, and they can actually start working during their senior year. So as I said, college is awfully expensive, and it's a great way for students to figure out what they may want or not want to do when they get out of high school. Evan Wessels is a Westerville Central senior, and Evan is in our senior law enforcement program. And what I've learned about Evan is that he wants to go to college to become a legal sign language interpreter. So what he has learned in his law enforcement class, it's going to help him, that's going to make him stand out from the others, is he understands the legal process, he's learned the industry jargon, he has connected with the professionals in the field, and that gives him reason to stand out on that college application. Now, Kayla was telling me she has to leave here tonight and go write her essays for her college applications. And the one thing they're looking for is they want more than transcripts and activities. How do you separate yourself from everybody else? And it's these career tech program experiences that allow them to separate themselves and help their application surface to the top. We had our board meeting last week, and we had a group of students from digital design that presented to the board. Over the years, we've partnered with Delco Water on a number of projects, and they came to our digital design students and said, would you do a video that we can put on our website? And so the kids had to learn all about the whole treatment process and do that, and they did the video. It's fabulous. Even the one student talked to us about, he went around, he has drips of water, and when you really listen to it, you hear the drips of water in the background. It's fascinating. Well, unbeknownst to the team, one of the students sent this in for an award, for a Student Emmy Award. And those students won first place Student Emmy Award. So what better way to stand out, whether it's a job application or a college application, to have those experiences in your back pocket. In addition to college ready, our students are career ready. And we talked about one of the things that our students earn are credentials so that they can go out, they already know how to do it, they've demonstrated that they can do the work, and they can start working well in high school. They can go right into work, or they can help this to offset the cost of college should they go that path as well. I will tell you that over 90% of our students are positively placed 8 to 9 months after graduation. We have to do follow-up studies in career tech, and over 50% of those students go on to post-secondary experiences. Again, sometimes opposite of what we think about career centers. Our 4- and 5-year graduation rate are 92% and 97% respectively. And then currently, Dr. Kellogg, you alluded to this, we have 2 locations. We have a North Campus and a South Campus. And we are in the early stages of breaking ground to consolidate everything to our South Campus on Route 23. And our anticipated move-in date is August of 2018. And that's assuming we have a mild winter. We can get the new piece, the new addition under roof, and that'll allow our 5-plan phase-in phase to plan to work. If not, it will be January of 19. One of the advantages when we were looking at do we consolidate or not, on average, it will save each school district, who right now are busing 3 times a day to 2 campuses, approximately $50,000 a year. So there's a benefit beyond your students getting a good education to that. If you want to see the new facility, you can go to YouTube and you can put in DACC walkthrough, and you can kind of walk through the new facility as it is anticipated to look. So we're excited about that, to bring everything under one roof. So as you can see, DACC offers a wide range of opportunities for your Westerville students. I say we are an extension of you. We're not a different school, we're an extension. We are just down a really long hallway. So we do appreciate your support. On November 22nd, we will have our School to Career Days, where we will host the Westerville sophomores and share with them the possible experiences that they could have, or at least be able to see where their friends will go. So thank you again for this time and this opportunity. Any questions? Thank you.
Hello, I'm Brooke Cochran, and I teach at Westerville North High School. I teach the College Credit Plus classes, as well as Principles of Biomedical Science and AP Biology. So I kind of have the spectrum of what he was talking about there. But I'm here tonight to specifically talk about the College Credit Plus and how it's kind of grown since it's been at North. We started last year with maybe 4 or 5 kids in the class, and now we're at 18, maybe 19. It's a great opportunity for students to kind of see what college is like, but still have somebody kind of to guide them. They're not so used to just having to follow a syllabus and their grades just coming straight only from quizzes and only from tests, nothing else really. It's opened our kids' eyes to other careers in the medical field besides just being a doctor. I have some kids that are now interested in doing being a science lab person or working in a lab in a hospital. And next semester, if we are able to get our lab that we're hoping to bring, our kids will actually come out if they take all 4 classes that Ms. Arco and I offer, plus the lab with a certificate. So it's been amazing for what they're able to see and what they're able to do, and just kind of learn from that.
I'm Diana Arco. I teach the same College Credit Plus courses as Brooke at Westerville Central, as well as the Medical Interventions course, which is one of the career tech courses. And as Brooke mentioned, the classes are great. They're classes that our students are excited about. They see value in them. As part of the health pathways, I would say almost all of our students are directly looking at a health career. And so they see these classes as stepping stones to whatever direction they're taking. So some of our students have kind of a very clear path for where they see themselves. They're looking down the line and they're saying, I'm physical therapy, I'm going to medical school, I want to be an audiologist. And so they're seeing these courses as a way that can get some of their prerequisites done or what they might need for graduate school down the line. We have other students that are saying, yes, I want to do that, but this is also a way that I can get that certification potentially and work and maybe make some money for college, or make some money in the summers in between. And we have some other students that are saying, hey, I want to go into the health pathways, but I'm not sure what. And so this is a great way for me to explore some careers. It's also a great way for me to maybe get my foot in the door as a lab tech and work for a little while as I explore some other options. And that's where the majority of our students are. But we've also had 1 or 2 students, which I think is equally as valuable, who have sat through the courses last year and have said, you know, these were great, but I don't think I'm a healthcare guy. I don't think I'm a healthcare girl. You know, I thought this was where I wanted, but, you know, it's just not the right fit for me. And that's great for our students to be seeing at this stage in the game. As Mary Beth mentioned, college is expensive. And so to be able to do that exploration now, kind of in the safety of the walls of their high school, has been really rewarding for them. All right.
So I'm not going to let you off the hook. So I'm a former biology teacher, so I get to do this. So talk about, as a teacher, your experience on how this curriculum affects the engagement level of students.
So I think it's a very different curriculum. So it's drastically different than anything they're seeing in their biology class or their chemistry class, and they're able to make some of those connections. But as I mentioned, it's the real-world application. So we were just talking about like safety in the health careers, and so how they have to be monitored for radiology, how they need to be looking at dealing with bloodborne pathogens. And so the engagement, even when it's maybe a little bit of a drier topic like HIPAA and healthcare privacy, they're seeing that kind of, oh yeah, I'm going to use this in my job. Like that's really interesting, even though it's here's how insurance works, here's how deductibles work. There's things that they are seeing that direct value with.
It applies directly to whatever, it applies to their life. It's real life application that they get. It's not just, oh, let's learn about photosynthesis. It's something that is applicable to their everyday life. They're terms they hear about, they hear their parents talking about. Oh, well, we've met our deductible or we haven't met our deductible. And so they kind of know what those terms mean now. And it's something that they are faced with and they're going to be faced with in the future. So it's applicable.
And most importantly, by the end of the year with medical terminology, they'll say, oh, I was watching Grey's Anatomy and I knew exactly what they were talking about. And I'm like, yep, that's part of the course. Now you know exactly what all that medical jargon is when they're rattling that off on TV. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'd like to thank our guests, our students, Mary Beth, for coming. And before I open it up to any questions that you may have, I just want to reiterate again, we didn't do this because it was neat. We didn't do this because it was cool. We were very intentional in the programming that we brought back because we knew this was the experience that our students needed to make them more marketable, more prepared to transition into the world that they will be entering into in adulthood. And Dr. Kellogg will tell you, I will never be happy until our graduation rate sits at 100%. And not only sitting at 100%, that we have found coursework and a niche for every kid to engage in, that they have interacted with courses that make them more prepared for the world of work, more prepared for college, more prepared for the military, or anywhere else. And I think our community sees the return on the investment in our district because we regularly engage with our Chamber of Commerce, who's been a willing partner to bring students into the workplace to engage them. And so I really appreciate Dr. Kellogg and the board for the vision and the direction of this district. And I say again, I challenge that in a 3-year span, if any district in our state has created the opportunities for their students that we have for ours.
Scott, would you, I know, appreciate the presentation, and I thought it might be helpful for the board and for the community. This issue of college credit plus and students earning college credit when in high school, right? How does that align, though, to high school credit work?
So one of the things that the state provided the opportunity for is dual credit. So while students are earning college credit, they are dually earning high school credit, and it translates really neat to 3 semester hours of college, which is typically what most semester colleges courses are, equal 1 credit of high school. So when you take the 1,004 credits that our students are earning, that's over 300 high school credits that they're dually earning at the same time and matriculating towards graduation.
I have a question. The College Credit Plus courses, do they align with any of the specific requirements required for graduation, those courses?
So you take the Comp 111, that would qualify as one of our English credits for graduation. You take some of the upper level courses like medical terminology, intro to healthcare, because it is a college level science course, you have to take a life, you have to take a physical, and you have to take an advanced. That qualifies as one of their advanced courses. So yes, they do align with our graduation requirements.
Scott, I'm actually concerned a little bit about a missed opportunity here. There are a handful of critical, but very vocally so critical voices in our community that have said over and over again that we're doing absolutely nothing to increase and expand programming, absolutely nothing to return critical programming, absolutely nothing to attack remediation rates. But I'm looking at 3,700 students that fly in the face of that argument. I'm looking at programs that didn't exist we can go back a number of years, 2010, 2011, 2008. These programs didn't exist, right? Not just one program, multiple programs, right? The composition class is interesting to me. The argument that the district and the board is not attacking remediation rates is interesting to me from the standpoint of the composition class, by design, defies remediation because it is in and of itself is recognized by the university systems around us. So the opportunity that I'm concerned about is that we have a Grand Canyon-sized gap between perception and evidence-based reality, right? We have evidence that clearly shows that argument is completely invalid, yet that argument continues to get made in the community. Are we doing a decent enough job of marketing to our community beyond our students, letting the community know this incredible body of work that has been going on, not just from the A+ grant, but certainly, a large part from that? Are we capitalizing on that moment?
I think that's a great discussion point. I would say, and Scott alluded to it, we've partnered with the Chamber on this for several years now in terms of when we first got into the Straight A grant and presented that to them and looking for, and we actually have a document we've been working on. I know Ann's here. I saw Ann back there, right? She took time off from motherhood to be here tonight. So Ann has done a lot of great work in terms of specific ways we can engage with the Chamber around the kinds of programmings we're talking about. So we've got a lot of support from the Chamber on this as well. So it's also really complicated. And I don't mean that in any way other than that there's a lot. And so trying to decipher what it is for parents, for community members about what this means for students. When you have a lot of different options with a lot of flexibility, because that's really what we're trying to make, not pigeonholing kids into very small opportunities, it takes a lot to explain all the moving parts. You heard Skylar talk about her program, and well, you know, I'm on campus, but some kids could be, I'm off campus, and, you know, and so there's a lot of different components to that are difficult to explain. That's why, you know, there's tracking of data, there's a lot of data points we could do, but this kind of top-level view that Scott's been building of this 3-year, what are our trend data showing us, I think is a great way to communicate to people, as you said, in terms of the numbers of kids. And we're gonna continue. We believe if we create the right opportunities for kids, right, they'll rise to the top, and the test scores and remediation rates will take care of themselves. Highly engaged kids, right? That's the key. And so when you have that, the test scores take care of themselves. And in these programs, that's what you get. I've toured Delaware Career Center and watched our kids up there, and they love their programs. They love them. They love them. And that's, you know, what we're trying to build.
Yeah, it just concerns me that, I mean, to your point, so that at no point in history has this school board and this school administration been more integrated with our surrounding community, with our Chamber of Commerce, with Otterbein, with other institutions that are in this community, where we're doing more and more good work. And it seems to me that we need to be making sure that the broader community, not just those community members with students, but the broader community is completely aware of that. Like I said, maybe we're just missing the marketing opportunity, but when I see, if we look at the 3-year trend, when I see 3,000 kids over the course of the last 3 years that are doing things that didn't exist in this district 4 years ago, I really have a hard time swallowing those criticisms from that small but vocal group. I really do.
One point I didn't get the opportunity, or I was remiss, we've also partnered with a national organization called Equal Opportunity Schools, and we have what's called we partnered with a Lead Hire grant, which Equal Opportunity Schools partners with the United States Department of Ed, International Baccalaureate, and the College Board, which houses advanced placement courses. And with our partnership, which our consultant will be here Wednesday, the goal is to increase the amount of economically disadvantaged and minority kids who are historically underrepresented in those courses, to get those students who are capable and able to succeed in those courses into AP and IB and remove the hurdles and barriers that have prevented them from participating before. So I'm really eager to see what our registration numbers will look like in the spring, because I think as you see those trends continue to go up, you'll really see that with AP and IB, especially with our economically disadvantaged and minority student populations.
So I'll certainly let the board interject on their own, but I have to say, you know, Scott, the team, what you guys are doing, incredible, right? Not just our team on the ground. When we think about our work with there's a great example. I mean, if we're not firing on all cylinders, then I'm not exactly sure why we're the biggest contributor to the Delaware, to the DAC, right? I mean, we're capitalizing on all of these resources. Thank you so much for what you and the team do. I appreciate it.
Certainly a great team to work with.
Go ahead. We'll both go, yes.
Okay.
I'll just end up saying ditto.
So bravo. You know, I sat here tonight and listening to this presentation, and I kept thinking, we have so many choices. Everyone loves choice, right? So it appeals to everyone all over the spectrum. So thank you. And Ann, sitting in the back, thank you. I know that you guys all work very hard as a team, your whole team. I appreciate it. So what I want people to hear is, and I know a little bit, I know how we take the 8th graders and then again at sophomores, when they're sophomores, to the Career Center, but how do we let the kiddos know we have these options, as well as the parents, because I think the kids know and sometimes they don't share, and it's more than just a course offerings book.
Sure.
So.
And I'll tell you a conversation, and that's a great point that you make, that we have been having, is that we engage the entire 8th grade community at High School 101, and we go through our course, all the options that we've outlined tonight and more that are available for them. And then different points through their high school career, we engage mostly the students. And we have been having discussions on how can we better engage our parents, our family in a user-friendly way. In fact, I think you were very helpful with helping us. We started our first one. Anne was the producer of it, but we created kind of a video that walks parents through College Credit Plus, how to. They can watch it, they can rewind it on their own time, and we would ideally like to push out videos in all of our programming and Facebook them regularly and tweet them regularly and Instagram them regularly and Snapchat stories and all of those things where we can highlight and communicate to our community and our parents and our kids all of the things that we offer and the opportunities that they have. Word of mouth is helping. I think word of mouth of what kids have been experiencing, and they've told their friends, oh, you got to take this course. This is really cool. That has helped, but we want to get our parents on board. Our staff has been amazing because they're the ones that make it happen every day in the classroom, and it's just making sure that our community sees the value of what they're investing in.
Great, thank you.
Just a couple of points. You made the comment that what we are developing is a niche for every student. That is where we so desperately need to be because, as you said, John, highly engaged students achieve. Not only do they achieve, but they go on to become highly engaged as they become part of their career and as they become part of the adult citizens of our community. It's so important, Scott, what you and Anne and the staff have done here in such a short amount of time. These numbers, these are not numbers that you see elsewhere. These kind of improvements, these kind of increases have only happened because there has been a remarkably devoted insistence that we are going to make education individualized in the way that it should be within the constructs that we work within as an educational district. So I wanted to point out to you, you know it, I want to point out to everybody else how incredibly remarkable this is. When you look at this, we've more than doubled the number of College Credit Plus credits. We've moved from 349 participants in Career Tech to 901 just in that 3-year time frame. That is virtually unheard of. I also want to point out the important component that we haven't talked about very much, which is the engagement of Westerville educators in consortia that exist around these topics. For instance, walked in a room one day, and who did I see? Scott Reeves. As I was meeting with a group of higher ed people and a group of school district people, all focused on making that connection between K-12 education and higher ed seamless. It's not easy to do that. It's translation sometimes, but connecting those different pieces, ironing out the difficulties that do arise between multiple systems, and identifying ways that what works in K-12 can work in higher ed, what works in higher ed can work for K-12. Those things Westerville is part of from the get-go, and that's really exciting. When I walked in and saw Scott in this meeting that I was a guest, I was like, yeah, Westerville's here too, this is so cool. But thank you, Scott, so much for what you're doing. And John, you and I have had this conversation before. This is grand, and this needs to continue with the same level of focus, but there are other pieces coming. And as we look at what we're doing to create those niches for students, we know that we're looking at other pathways that can have the same effective trajectory. So this isn't the end, this is the tip of the spear. This is great stuff. Scott, thank you. Thank you, Anne. Thank you to all the staff who are engaged in this. And John, keep going.
Scott.
I'm just trying to keep up with them.
I wanted to thank you. Clearly, you guys have made a tremendous amount of progress. And thanks for coming out tonight. I would be interested in maybe a presentation more on our internal career pathways, more details on that. I think that that program has really blossomed. I mean, it's gone from, just starting out in the hundreds and over 600 is fantastic. And I like the fact that you've really focused on pathways that have a good future in their career. I think that's important. I also like the fact that you guys are trying to capitalize on those tag courses where that transfer assurance guarantee is there. So I'm hoping we continue in that vein. So thanks for everything you're doing.
There's really just a whole lot of things to say about this, and most of my colleagues have really said much better than I. This is the breadth of what we are offering now in these few short years. Maybe there's a bit of a victim of success. This has gone so well and grown so quickly that I don't know the marketing of it has gotten out there fast enough yet. So it could be that. It could be that as kids get in these pathways and in these classes and get engaged, the word just begins to fly. I mean, you this engineering pathway and health pathway and business pathway, and how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different universities. There's one more university I'd like to put in there. We'll talk on the side. But no. I was going to ask you about the minority and lower represented, but you talked about that, so I checked that off. I don't want you to miss the one thing that I think, that it's not the, that I think is very important. You said that this will help our students to be more prepared for career, for military, etc. As I listened to Kaylee and Sally, the other thing that it helps them to become more prepared for is life, time management, real on-the-ground stuff. I will run into community members that will say, you're not teaching real stuff they need to learn. And yet when somebody's up there saying they now understand deductibles, they now understand investments for the future, I got to tell you, that is really important. I know it's just not you, and I know we're throwing a lot of thank yous to you, but please communicate to your team all the way across all the schools. We are all in with this. We will fight for funding for this. We will fight, Nancy is right, there are areas that we need to expand this into. And I know you're breathing right now. I know you're above water right now, but we need to keep this going and growing.
Well, Dr. Kellogg would always say more kids wanting to take more rigorous coursework is a good problem to have. And I know that you know I'm not understating it because you've seen his work. When that Fab Lab opens this December, it will be the premier Fab Lab in Central Ohio in a high school. And we've already engaged Otterbein in partnering with their STEAM center now called The Point. And ours is the Warrior Innovation Center called The Shop. And so you've seen Jeff's work, so you know what this place is going to be. So, thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Very much appreciated.